What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review a product by Loyalty Amongst Thieves. Basically, this product is called Self-Titled and it came out in the summer of 2017. Now the thing about this particular product is this had some backdrop as far as coming out back in like 2014 actually, as far as this first going to happen. If you don't know about Loyalty Amongst Thieves, basically it's just an offshoot group that Gutta Gutta of Young Money spawned back in like the mid 2010s as far as what's first going to happen. Now originally this was going to be a mixtape, but the amalgamation behind it was kind of like a more just kind of low key and slide type aspect within the tone behind it. This is a product that's really only on not Spotify but SoundCloud as far as this pitch can have. Is just the aspect that the commonplace about it, there's not a vast majority of folks that seemingly know about this particular product, especially nowadays. The pitch behind it just kind of quietly came out. It's kind of low key beneath the radar and just not much real pizzazz or real promotion fair about it. Now this is something, I think there were a couple of buzz singles that were released. Initially this was a touted product that was going to be like the next big thing for Gutta Gutta, Lil Wayne, some of those type folks in the summer of 2014, maybe early 2015, pitches like that, but it just didn't manifest. But similar to like the T-Wayne album with T-Pain and Lil Wayne that surfaced in 2017, this is another one that manifested later. That's some excellent type of deal to be able to get. So this project, I don't know the full bound every single member that are on here. There's some folks like I've seen this cat Hoodie Baby who's on here a few times, and like there's a fourth member on here who I'm not as full bound sure as to who it would be. It might be Flo as far as this pitch can happen. He's on here a few times, but basically it's just basically comprised of Young Money members. The two of the main ones, Lil Wayne is on here quite a bit, which is awesome to get, and Gutta Gutta is on here a number of times. That's the reason why I'm reviewing this product, because I saw this as like a Gutta Gutta spin-off type project. I'm looking to wrap up Gutta Gutta's products as far as this first can happen. So it's just one pitch. This is the stuff that Gutta Gutta was up to in 2014. Now Gutta Gutta himself took off a pretty decent break after Gutta Gutta took a pretty decent break after 2013's Red Rum as far as this first going to happen. He did not resurface again besides this project until 2021, so it's just within the fair as far as saying he is more early 2010s type fair, but this is another classic here. Just Beyonce added 9 songs, just the pitch behind it. Now I like the aspect, it's just with the aspect behind it, I'm not really sure how to go about like purchasing this particular product. I'm not sure if you just have to download the songs your own old-fashioned way within computer sense as far as those pitches can happen, because it doesn't appear to be available for purchase, and it's just not super commonly talked about. Very much an austere and secret type product just within a tone as far as saying it's just not commonly available, so it's just kind of to your delight and liking as far as picking it up as far as those pitches kind of happen. This doesn't particularly seem to have the appeal as far as the aspects of, not so much appeal in terms of quality, but doesn't have like the aspect as far as saying whether or not it's commonplace. That's a real big deal about fucking with it in terms of your own way as far as those first go. So it's just the pitch as far as saying secret type product here, basically damn near like a Young Money album way out in 2017, I'd say, within the pitch. This kind of happens to be the aspect behind it. Yeah, there were no singles out this product, but I mean, at least the most popular song according to Spotify is the song Loyalty, which has a pretty good pitch. I would assume that's the single, but out of the nine songs on here, I wound up recommending 8. So, and really, I actually recommend all 9 songs, but Devastation is just a song that was, I actually recommend all 9, but Devastation was a song that was also on Lil Wayne's Dedication 5 way back in 2013. So it's just the pitch as far as saying that's the only song I'm not going to talk about in the fashion. Same time, it's the same sort of song, just Lil Wayne, Gutta Gutta on there doing their vintage kind of ish as far as this pitch kind of has a good type tone. But yeah, I look after it here. So every song in here, so Loyalty is a nice one as far as what's first going to happen. This is like a skeletal kind of Swiss beats like kind of dance rager kind of get within those aspects. This heavy bass and kind of a throwback to 90s house type music within the tone. Just some good jive about that. So, if you like folks like the Vanilla Ice and Salt and Peppa type aspects, just one of those type ones with just a little bit of trap thump in there and just standard bass rumbling within the pitch behind as far as those pairs that happen. Just basically like getting like a 1991, 1992 type song in more 2014, 2015, 2017 type fashion within the pitch behind. So it's just good type fare for that. I mean, it's kind of minimalist. The song is particularly kind of minimalist. That's the thing about this particular album in terms of like the flair. It's very much approaching within the aspect. Its approaches on this product is just not real glamorous and in your face as far as these fairs can happen. There's a lot of songs on here. Like Fireworks is kind of like that. The song with Jeezy, Bando is kind of like that. I feel like Yada Yada. There's just not in terms of like a nightclub blitz, like something that's just real full bound kind of pharaoh like. Stand on couches, pop champagne, some of those type pitches within the tone behind it. It's just kind of the product that a lot of these kind of approach from like lateral angles and just not so much directly full on, but just kind of more from just this approaching from not as much full on as far as this pitch kind of. So it's just kind of the tone. But speaking of bando, this is a nice one here. It's like a dazed and drowsy kind of springtime frolic to kind of get within those aspects. There's definite Juice WRLD vibes. There's some good cloud rap. There's definitely some good cloud rap as far as those first can happen just within tone, which is an interesting aspect because Lil Wayne didn't commonly do that as much. He is on here. Folks like that Hoodie Baby, some of these type folks, just really feels ripped out of 2017. Some of those type fairs, it's like good for some free think bellas as far as this pitch can happen. Just free think or some of that particular type fair, just more not so much full bound hippie, but this kind of aspect of more Woodstock variety. Some of those type pitches, just kind of the tone as far as saying this kind of more than the aspect of this, within relative tree hugging type aspect as far as those appeals can happen. This real smoke centric, probably within a more kind of this 70s oriented type sense. Not to say like they're from Gen X baby boomer age, but this kind of pitch, it is more transcended kind of vibe as far as those pitch can have. So good type tone. Fireworks is an interesting one. This is an interesting type tune just because I wouldn't expect Jeezy to be on a song like this. It's really only a Jeezy and Lil Wayne song. Two former greats from like the mid 2000s, pitches like that. Lil Wayne was also further, but two great greats from like the mid 2000s. But it's just kind of the pitch that this is a song that just doesn't really fit either of them. It's just kind of a new type variation, just something entirely new, just an aspect of something that's not commonplace or in their familiar territory. But it's kind of like a bouncy kind of PlayStation like music, just kind of hangout buzz vibes, kind of get within these aspects here. Just good type tune for pretzels, nachos, some of that particular type conduct, or just standard snacks and just evening dine within a snackage type sense. It's like good for some blunt rotation as far as those first gonna happen. This really reminds me of like a Crash Bandicoot type beat, something like that. Just one of those aspects that is something within that particular type fair, just real frolic and just the pitch of just joviality, but just kind of like a laid back kind of, not so much tropical kind of sense, but just kind of exotic type sense within the pitch behind it. It's kind of a more bewildered type one, just a hangout type fashion that just feels more lush and hangout type something that just feels more lush and jubilant as far as what's first gonna happen. Just a surprising kind of summer frolic about that one. Some vintage type vibes would be Get You Gat, and this is like a dark and swirling kind of vintage mixtape trap blowout to kind of get within some of these aspects here. Just hella head trip about this particular song is some lyric snaps as far as what's first gonna happen. Probably the darkest song off this particular project as far as those first gonna happen. Just real excellent aspect, kind of get this here. This feels ripped out of 2011, 2012, some of those particular type formats. I think this song definitely needed Gutta Gutta on here as far as those first gonna happen, but it is excellent type pitch to get that vintage type format. It just really feels like you're tripped out as hell, like you need to sit down some of those type formats. Moolah Gang is an excellent one. Now this takes it back to early 2010s type fair within the pitch. It's like a vintage kind of glissy step out, I'd have to say here. Just early 2010s style within some of those type pitches. This heavy pound, I definitely feel like about this one. Some vehicle rollout fun as far as this pitch can happen. Just within the pitch, I feel like there's at least two songs like this on here. Another one like that would kind of be Yeah to the Yeah, just within pitches like that. But this is a typical type format, just like those stunt type pull up type songs. I mean, it feels like Young Money did way more songs like this. It feels like this is something ripped out of like the 2014 Rise of an Empire type album within the more glissy type sense, but also the concept of something probably from like 2011, some of those type fairs. I know Young Money had further projects. I don't know his full bound. The details on it are kind of scarce. There's like a Young Money project that was called like Castle, some of those type pitches. So I know they probably put out more projects within the relative aspect of it, but it's just kind of within the product. Just kind of being more low key and just not as commonly available. But this is some of those type ones that are just like those vintage kind of 2011, 2012 kind of step out type ones within the pitch that just has a lot of gloss and just good flex type music. It's the same thing with Yeah to the Yeah. Now this song only has flow on there, but still excellent type pitch. Gonna get that here. He's pretty good with these pitches. It's like a sparkly and mild kind of early 2010s throwback, I'd have to say. Just some night venue step out here, I'd feel like, but this one kind of wonky within the pitch. This one is Yeah to the Yeah is just a little bit more trippy compared to Moolah Gang as far as this pitch can happen. Just kind of the aspect, same sort of stun appeal, but just not as much bravado within the pitch behind as far as this pitch can happen. So just good type tone. Stupid is a quality one as well. This has Gutta Gutta on here. It's good type pitch. Good to get that aspect. It's like a spacey and slogged out kind of out and around as far as this pitch can happen. Just kind of more products of smoking just out in the wind. Some of those type fairs, whether it is backyard or just outdoor type fest. Some good powwow fun. I definitely feel like here just kind of new era Young Money vibing as far as this pitch can happen. So this feels like that standard vibe. It's getting like some extra type forms just out in just enjoying the festivities, like the conduct of just like the standard kind of commotion as far as this pitch can happen. Just more not so much around the local pad and pitches like that as far as this fair is going to happen. This is pretty tripped out type one, pretty similar to Get You Gat, but just not as rugged within the pitch behind. This is a little bit more focused on like the trip out as to how those fairs are going to happen. A good portion of this product is pretty tore up. I think it's a pretty good album to just have several swishers in your system and Backwoods, some of those type pitches within the tone behind this. Really have like the head trip. There's songs on here like Get You Gat, Bando, Stupid, some of these type ones, Fireworks within a certain sense, some of those type ones. Yeah to the Yeah is pretty good for that particular type fair. So it's just some good type of appeal within some of these. And then Flexing is a quality one. This is like an in-between kind of social nights, I'd have to say about this aspect. Just a minty appeal, I'd have to say here. Just kind of amidst commotion, but kind of gelling just within the aspect about it. And by gelling, just mean more gab pitches like that. Some of those particular type fares. It's kind of the conduct of not so much the concentration on like getting tore up pitches like that, but more the product of just figuring out like the dap and some of those type moments of making, moves in terms of like the concept of either whether it is bells in mind or just pitches of just like having some power moves to make or boss moves to make or just standard conversation where you're just trying to have like some good adaptations. It's not really to say it's in terms of this, having like ulterior motives, but it's this kind of pitch of just having more chattiness kind of in mind within the pitch bond. It's kind of more the standard kind of lofty kind of penthouse or hot. Flexing is a standard kind of lofty penthouse. Flexing is a standard kind of lofty penthouse or house party type appeal within the glitz behind it. I'd have to say here within the pitch. Definitely excellent Chris Brown type hook. There's a Migos member on here. I was trying to figure out which one it was. I'm not sure. I think it's either, it's not Takeoff, but it's either Offset or Quavo, something of that pitch. And if it's not them, it's definitely someone who has a similar cadence to Migos as far as those pitch happens. Just within the pitch as far as saying at least one of the Migos is on this song. So it's just kind of a good posse song to get this here, but it's just kind of a lofty kind of, it's more social pizzazz, but it's not as ferocious with it. And that's kind of the tone of most of this album. Like I was saying, most of this album is just not in your face in terms of like the voracious kind of just craze factor, just like the standard snarl that was back in like the early 2010s and pitches like that, or even like the early mid 2010s with like the Rich Gang era and some of those type fares. So it's just the pitch. I feel like the majority of this album is probably produced between 2014 and 2017. I mean, this came out in 2017, but I don't know if they completed it in 2014. It's kind of a mystery as to where the true origins of a lot of these songs kind of manifested, but I feel like I do want to say that at least songs like Bando were not, Cloud Rap was not as full bound kind of on the scene in 2014, so it's just within the pitch. Some of this might have just been the product like the mid 2010s as far as those first happen just within the pitch. That's kind of the tone, but yeah, and then like I said, Devastation's the same as it was on Dedication 5, so just excellent type one, real harrowing, some pitch, classic Lil Wayne gotta team up within some of those type pitch. So that's the tone about this particular album here, so it gets a 10 out of 10 within the aspect behind it. The social score I'll probably give like a 9.75, or the social score I'll probably give like a 9.25, 2 out of 10, because it's an excellent album here. I like the concept of it. If it is a free product and there's no real problems with the availability of like download fare, I would definitely say this would be a pretty excellent type of to kind of get. But it's just kind of conduct as far as saying, I feel like apart from songs like Moolah Gang, and then probably to like, that would probably be to a certain extent Yeah to the Yeah, which I think needed more folks on there. It's just kind of the pitch that I feel like the blitz type factor behind it is just not as, the bliss type factor is just not as full bound kind of snarlish within the pitch. Not to say it's not a good vibe, it's just kind of the pitch as far as trying to find the standouts in terms of like the social commotion. Like I feel like Loyalty is a good song, but it's just kind of minimalist. It's not as full bound attention grabbing as previous Young Money hits. And, some of these other type ones, they just approach from like a different angle. I feel like this album definitely needed an anchor of some sort of song, like basically like Bedrock back in those days and some of those type pitches, and, Looking Ass by Nicki Minaj, some of those type pitches within some of those type fares, just ones that are like the heavy hitters within pitches like that. The song like Trophies by Drake, some of those particular type fares. Just kind of the aspect as far as saying this is a good type album, it's just the pitch as far as saying it's just not in your face in terms of the concept. It just kind of approaches for more like flank and kind of more, this approaches for more flank and kind of lateral type positions. So it's just kind of the conduct. You just have to find these type ones, just being able to say there's some good gems to kind of throw in and add some spice to as far as this pitch can happen with like the conduct, and just kind of having extra type fare within the pitch of having extra type fare for like playlists and pitches like that. But it's just kind of the concept as far as saying it's just not, there's just not a humongous kind of casual anchor as far as what's first going to happen. So I guess 9.25. But in terms of future, like the unfortunate thing is, well, within the pitch, Lil Wayne has recently said that he's working on a new era of Young Money as far as what's pitch going to happen. I don't know what's full bound up with Gutta Gutta, some of those type folks. The thing about some of these folks, like I don't know what happened with Euro, don't know what happened with some of those type folks like Corey Dollars or some of those type folks. Not Corey Dawes, but Corey Gunn, some of those particular type folks. Some of these type folks have kind of just been here and there within the pitch behind it. I think, like I said, there were further Young Money type projects. I know at least there was a Young Money mixtape from 2005. I'd love to find that Castle mixtape from 2010. I don't know what the hell happened to that one. There's just pitches like that. They're kind of floating around within some of these type pitches. I have a few more Gutta Gutta products to get to. I've seen a few more that have popped up, so some excellent type fair to get to some of those. Lil Wayne, this is just another stock heater from him as far as this pitch can happen. And just to say on top of that, Lil Wayne's lyricism is on display here. This is kind of a secret product, just what he was up to 2014, 2015 when he was kind of in like his snafu within the pitch and not being able to drop the Carter 5. So just kind of secret little Wayne type verses within the pitch where he did actually have another album apart from the Free Wheezy albums. It's just some good type pitches of what he was up to around the mid-2010s because it's kind of quieter. He got kind of quiet after I'm Not a Human Being 2 from 2013. So it's just some pitch as far as him. But that's the aspect behind it. So yeah, basic. Kind of very austere, but still classic kind of Young Money circulated type album within the pitch that has a lot of similarities to Young Money, but this is the aspect of some new stuff, but definitely nails it. Good gutter type product here, and just overall has the appeal.